If you've been declined for an EIDL loan because of your credit issues, don't panic. My name is Cassie Price. I own Business Credit Lab, and I teach people how to build business credit in their business EINs. But in my former life, I used to do a lot of credit repair, mortgage coaching, and credit coaching. And I've got a couple of quick tips that will hopefully help you get the score that you need to get your EIDL loan. So first things first, which score does EIDL use? EIDL is looking at the Vantage 3.0 score. And if you're used to being in the credit conversation, you might be used to FICO scores. FICO scores are what are used in mortgage lending. They're what is the majority of usage for credit cards, all that kind of stuff. But for whatever reason, EIDL is looking at Vantage scores. Vantage scores are way differently than FICO scores. So different things are going to make your score move faster, although they're kind of the same. So what Vantage prioritizes is different than FICO. So for Vantage, they look really heavily at collections and they look really heavily at credit card balances, whereas FICO tends to look at credit history and those kinds of things. That's not what Vantage looks at. So Vantage is going to look at anything you've got in collections is going to be a priority. If you can get those paid off, if you can call up the collection company and say, hey, can I get this paid off? It's technically illegal for them to do what's called a pay and delete. You might have seen this all over the internet. I'll pay you $200 on my $1,000 debt and you delete it. Technically, that's not legal with their agreements between the reporting bureaus. Like it's not legal with Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, but it never hurts to ask. And if you move from having something in collections and moving an unpaid and moving to having something in collections and having it paid, it actually can have a pretty good effect on your credit score. So first things first, I'd start with that if you have the cash to do that. They're going to look only at your Vantage Experian score. So you can get that. You can't get that on Credit Karma. That's the one that you don't get on Credit Karma. So I'm going to link in the comments where you can get those scores. You can get them at nav.com is a good resource. And I'm going to link a bunch of other places that you can get that score. Some of them are going to update more than others. Some of them might only update once a week. Some of them might only update once a month. I think NAV only updates once a month, but you can call and ask them to pull it again. So don't look at your Equifax. Don't look at your TransUnion. Don't look at Credit Karma. Just look at your Experian. And you can also get it. You can also pay for it at Experian.com. And they will give you, I think that updates daily. So like I said, pay off your collections. Next one. And the next thing to talk about is paying down your credit cards. So paying down your credit cards can have a really big effect, especially on your Vantage scores. And if you're looking at prioritizing your cash, I want to give you some tips on how to stretch your cash the farthest and make it work. So the only day that your credit card balance matters is the day that your statement generates. So today is the 20th of August. And if you want to get your score boosted the fastest, you want to start paying down cards that close sooner rather than later. So I'm going to share my screen with you and give you an example. So this is a Capital One credit card statement. And you can see that the statement, I've got it highlighted up here in yellow, the only day the statement closes on the 5th, and it closes on the 5th every month. That is the only day that balance matters. That is the only day that the balance is going to report to the credit bureaus. So what you want to do, especially if you have a limited amount of cash, is you want to pay that card down on the 5th. You can find this on your own credit card statements because they're all different. You find what day the statement closes and you pay it as low as you can on that day the statement closes. Now, after the statement closes, if you're short on cash, you can actually run that card up again. Listen to this caveat. You can run that card up again and you have a 30-day window before it's going to close and report to the credit bureaus again. So let's say you have a card that closes on the 5th. You want to use your cash to pay that down as much as you can. The card closes And on the 6th, you can charge what you need to, and you have a 30-day period before that balance is going to post again. So let's say you get a little bit of cash, you can pay your card down, you have it close, and then you have to use that for your expenses. You get some more cash in. When you get the next round of cash in, you want to pay down the next card that has the next closing date. So if you have another card that has a closing date of the 9th, you want to pay that one down. If you have it on the 15th, you want to pay that one down. If it's the 20th and the card just closed on the 15th, that's not what's going to get you your score raised the fastest. So if you do that, you can kind of roll through and get some ladders, sort of a laddered effect on how it can boost your score. And those will generally update anywhere from 3 to 10 days. Mostly it depends on the card, it depends on the company, but 3 to 10 days. Sometimes on the outside, it'll be 15, not very often. It'll report to the credit bureaus and it'll help boost your score in that amount of time. So if you do that, that's the highest way to get your score the fastest. Now, the other way that you can do is you can get someone, the EIDL is no longer allowing cosigners, which is a bummer, but you can have someone add you as an authorized user to their credit cards. So if they're willing to cosign for you, they're probably willing to add you as an authorized user. What you're looking for with authorized users is you want somebody that has really good payment history, you don't want any late fees, and you want balances as low as possible. It's going to really hurt your score, especially on the Vantage model, which is what EIDL is using, if someone adds you to a credit card and they have a high balance. You don't want to do that. So if someone opened their credit card in 2005, it's going to add on to your credit profile and it's going to give you 15 years of payment history. You want those payments to be good. Now, if they had a bad payment over 7 years ago, it's not going to be on there. So same thing if you have a close relationship with someone and you can have these conversations with them, you're going to want to go and ask them to pull their statements and look and see when that statement closes and add you to the closest one that they can. Maybe they add you to all of them. That would be ideal. If they had perfect credit, they can add you to all of them. And one thing to know for authorized users, they don't have to give you a card. So they can add you to their credit cards. They can give you some support, but they don't actually have to give you a card if that's an issue. Now, obviously, if you can impersonate them on the telephone, if you can impersonate someone with their phone number, add, birth date, social security number, all that kind of stuff, don't do that with people that you don't have that relationship with. But if it's, a spouse or a parent or someone you have a good relationship with, this is a great way to help somebody out. It's a great way to be helped out. And if you're wondering when it's going to impact your score, it's same thing. So if the statement closes on the 5th, it'll most likely report to the credit bureaus between the 10th and the 15th, and that's when it'll hit your score. So same thing, today's the 20th of August. If the credit card just closed on the 15th, if they added you today, it's not going to go on there until the statement closes on the 15th of September, and it's not going to report until the 20th or the 25th of September. So ideally, they'll add you to all of them and they have all perfect credit and their balances are low, but that's something to consider as well if you're trying to get something as soon and as quickly as possible. So I hope that helps. Good luck with your application and may the odds be ever in your favor.